All right,
Good
Vicky,
evening.
would you like to kick us off and get us started?
Oh, yes. Hello, my name is Vicky Wong, and this session is called Getting Your Data from Education Management with Power Automate and Sky API. If you could switch to the next slide, Ashley. So again, my name is Vicky, and I'm the Director of Research and Advancement Information Systems at University School in Ohio. And I'm very excited to share my experience with pulling education management data using Power Automate and Sky API with you. And it's actually kind of fun doing it.
And my name is Ashley Moose. I'm a business consultant here at Blackbaud that had the pleasure of working with Vicky on getting to implement these Power Automate flows connecting to their education management system.
And I'm Stephen Boyle. I'm the product manager for the integrations and APIs team at Blackbaud. So trying to work with everybody to make sure that Sky API does what you need it to do.
Okay, next slide. So today I'm going to talk to you about my journey into adopting Power Automate, where we are now and where I hope we will go to. And
Did I go?
Yep. And Ashley's
going sorry.
to talk.
I'll be going through the nuts and bolts of the actual Power Automate flows and just sharing some of the details of how we actually implemented this solution.
And Stephen will talk about the integration using Sky API. Good, next slide. So I want to talk a little bit about University School. University School is a K-12 all-boys school covering 2 campuses in 2 suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio. Our school size is about 850 students, and we have used Blackbaud have been using Blackbaud from education management to Razor's Edge NXT to Financial Edge NXT for the last 6 years, and actually Razor's Edge, we've been using it for more than 15 years. Our technology department size is, there's 6. Our technology department focuses mainly on academic technology and infrastructure. And I sit in advancement/data management. I have a team of 2, myself and my data coordinator. And one of our jobs is to ensure data consistency and accuracy across the Blackbaud platform. And it's kind of challenging. Next slide, please. So how did we ended up using Power Automate? As a lot of you have gone through this, we were in the same boat with a whole bunch of you with the discontinuation of Microsoft Office integration with RENFE at the end of 2021. And like everyone else, we scrambled to find the right gift acknowledgement tool solution. And I watch a lot of presentations, and at the time, none of the third-party products has all the features that we liked. And our network administrator has been dabbling on using the Power Platform. And we had a conference session with Heather, and we decided to give Power Automate a try. I know to complete the project, we will need help. So we've hired Ashley as our consultant, who helped us build the gift acknowledgement template according to our specs. And once the template is done, myself and my data coordinator built up our list of gift acknowledgement letters. So it's been, oh wow, over a year now, and I think we've considered ourselves low-code developers. Looking back, I think using Power Automate has opened so many more opportunities for us to develop tools for our own needs. Next slide, please. So how can Power Automate improve productivity on the education management side? Fast forward to 2022, anyone who's responsible for maintaining data consistency across platform knows it's not an easy task. Although we have Raiser's Edge Connect, but we run the sync once a year and only for our parents, students, faculty, and staff. And we have been relying on communications from our administrators on the academic side and on the admission side and on the HR side, and sending us any updates. And with the pandemic, going through the pandemic, we actually have a revolving door of these administrative assistants, and updating most current information, profile information has become quite some difficulty. For example, at times we didn't get student withdrawals or new student coming in mid-year until much later. Also, and if someone updated board information, we don't get it on the Raiser's Edge side as timely. So I thought to myself, what if Power Automate can track those changes and send an email to us? So I thought that it would be great. It will be a great idea. And also, if you use enrollment management as well as tuition management, when somebody adjusted financial aid and not tell the business office, the books won't reconcile. And on a very regular basis in the spring and summer, we have to go through these reconciliation process where, I will run a report on the enrollment side and we try to reconcile tuition, the tuition management data. So it has become quite a job. Also, using the example of gift acknowledgement, I was just thinking we could email scheduled to our parents, which right now it's been a very difficult way of mail merging and putting a report that merges the schedule on a flattened Excel spreadsheet. So I have contracted Ashley again to help me get started with the 3 different flows. Ashley, if you can click on to the next slide. So the first flow is a user audit report flow. It runs every morning and it emails any profile changes to us. This is by far, to me, the most useful report for us. It not only reports back any email changes, it also reports back any user who has, for whatever reason, a bad email checked. And a lot of the times we just didn't know that, when we send out the push page, somebody's email bounced and then it became a hot bounce, and we are now, being able to then figure out why some of these emails got bounced back easily. And then the second report that Ashley helped us build is the net tuition report, which automates our my reporting, and it's a weekly automated email to our accounts receivable person, and she can then use that report to compare with a Blackbaud tuition. And then the last report that she did was a student-specific schedule reports to the parents, and that report could be emailed to the parents once it's run on demand. And Ashley's going to show you the nuts and bolts of the flows.
Thank you, Vicky.
Mhm.
All right. So first, we're going to see a little video of just that the net tuition report in action. So this report, actually, both of the last two mentioned there are both pulling from the get list single endpoint to pull an advanced list, and then we're just modifying that data in order to produce it in the format that Vicky and her team needed. So here we're just seeing a sample of that financial aid and tuition list that's coming out of education management. So you can see here, about to quickly jump away, but we'll come back to that in a minute. But it just has each row of that report has each piece of financial aid data repeated on a unique row. So we end up with potentially multiple rows for each student. So inside the actual flow, what made this possible is using the send an HTTP request action and using that get list single endpoint and identifying here that list ID. We were able to plug into the send an HTTP request action to actually use this inside a Power Automate flow. Unlike where Vicky was mentioning at the beginning, using like acknowledgement letters for Razor's Edge, that's all using a built-in connector that Blackbaud created for Power Automate. Here, that send an HTTP request action just allows that to be used across all Sky API endpoints. So after that flow runs, and this is on a scheduled basis, it sends an email. It creates the report, but then it also sends an email notifying that that report is available. So we can see here where we had originally on the list from education management. In this middle example, there's 2 rows for that student. On the actual final produced report, we're just getting that 1 row that has all of the financial aid data combined and then removed from the overall tuition, so we get their final or their true tuition amount that they owe. So that one is using I'm grouping them in as the get list flows. So that example, along with the student course enrollment report, are really similar for the beginning part of their flows. And all of this right now is shared out on the community. So it will be available if anyone wants to dive in and start trying to use it. But it's all plugging in, again, to the send an HTTP request action. And then it uses various parts to append that data to a list array for us to use later on. So in the first array that we pick up, we're getting all of the pieces that are repeated throughout each row. So in the example that was being shown, we have things like the student ID, their name, and so forth. And then in the second array here, that's where we're starting to pull in the pieces that are unique amongst the students. So later on, we actually go and recombine all of that to get the flattened list. And the way that we determine where that data comes out, because it comes out in a very when you're looking at the JSON of it, you have each column and each field repeated multiple times throughout that report. But it's all based on position. So in that example, the ID field was first. So I'm able to pull that and add it to my list array by identifying the position, which is 0 for the first field. And then we go through and remove the duplicates from the array that did have the duplicate values, the repeated values. And then rework it all to actually get it in that needed format. So clicked over too much. And then just a quick screenshot of the user audit flow, which is using the get user audit by role ID endpoint. So this sends also an email notification daily of all of the changes that are reported from that time. So you have to call each role independently, but for Vicky and her team's use case, they had a group of roles that were really important, such as parents, students, and a couple others. So we just call each of those, remove anyone who is duplicated between roles, and then send that summarized report, which matches what is seen on the user's profile changes when viewing it from the education management record. Now I'll pass along to Stephen.
Right, so that brings it to me, the Sky PI, and what we want to do to support people that need tools that outside of Blackbaud or any other solution. We know that the landscape of problems at a school is greater than one piece of software can solve, and we want to make it easy to use the best tool for the job. For instance, I know that many of you have lunchroom solutions or library solutions or crisis management tracking solutions. All of those are best served by connecting to your school's information, and we want Blackbaud to be the tool that helps you get that information to the right place at the right time. Also, providing access to your community through mobile apps, etc. And the reports that you inside the school need to run your business, to communicate to other offices, just as we're talking about here with Power Automate. Blackbaud allows several different ways of doing this. We've got some of our historic tools out there, like the On API, like our legacy integrations and single sign-on using JWT. But we also have our more modern tools that we're building out and are moving forward that have the current security and standardized systems like OneRoster's API for communicating across multiple systems without needing a specific knowledge of the proprietary tool, as well as single sign-on with our standard ID providers like SAML or ADFS, and then obviously direct access to your data with Sky API. And we can go to the next slide now. So in terms of partners, we try to make sure that we're connecting with the tools that you need. Canvas, Clever, and Microsoft are both sort of hub tools that have lots of different tools underneath them. And once you connect, you can expand your reach. Ruvna and Bright Arrow, also solutions that solve a specific problem at your school. These are the kinds of areas we want to make Sky API the right support tool for you. Next slide. And then in terms of your community, we want to give you the ability to provide access to students and parents via mobile apps that you can provide information like class schedules, their gradebook grades, as well as other information like the school directory and the news that's important to the school or a class. And all of this information is managed through Sky API and is protected with the security that person that's logging in should have. So when a mobile app, when a student logs into a mobile app, we are able to pass through the security that's available to that student, the permissions that are available to that student, to only serve up the information that they should see. And all of that is built into the access model that Sky API relies on. Go to the next slide. And then lastly, with within your school, we want to provide the information that will allow you to make the good decisions, will allow you to see the right trends, and will allow you to communicate with the other areas of your school that need the information that you have. Some examples are longitudinal information of candidates from last year to this year, enrollments from last year to this year, demographic breakdown, essentially giving you access to putting this into tools like something as simple as Excel's pivot tables to something as complicated as we saw with Power Automate. I say complicated, but what I really mean is powerful. And having Sky API be the source of that data that kicks off a lot of these communications to other offices is a real eye-opener to me, and I hope to some of you, to see what you can do with these tools. And with that, and we go to the next slide too, I want you to take away that Blackbaud wants to be a partner. We want to help you to extend the reach of your school, expand the tool sets that you use to solve the problems you face. Because like I said in the beginning, I know that a school has a lot of problems that one software can't solve alone. So we want to make the tools that we provide you the right tools for the job. I appreciate your time, and I know that Vicky and Ashley's work is impressive as it is just one of the many things that you've seen at the conference today and in the past few days. So yeah, we'll be available for questions as well.
All right. Don't see any questions or anything, but this is amazing. And Vicky, you did an amazing job for your first BB Dev Days presentation. So kudos to you for your very first one. Oh.
Oh, you're muted. You're on mute.
Sorry. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. And BB Dev Days has all these sessions have given me so many inspiration. And this slide was actually, we built a slide before I came to BB Dev Day. So we're at almost halfway point, and I've already come up with many more ideas. So one of the ideas of a future flow is to build BI comparative reports. Admissions is always looking for how can we compare our data, year-to-year data, and putting those year-to-year data in BI would be a very useful tool. Year-to-year admission, actually it's not year-to-year, it's date-to-date. Fall of this, this season, how do we compare that to fall of last year and the year before? And BI will do a great job in, if I can pull the data and put it straight into BI, it will be very exciting. Follow-up prompts for admissions. If you have, a student who has applied to the school, or parents have applied and they haven't finished the process, I take that from like actions from RE, and if you have an overdue action, you can come in, and if we can create a Power Automate tool to let our admissions directors know that, hey, why don't you follow up with this parent? They have, some of the teacher recommendations, but they haven't finished the, the application process, and it's been a month now. Also, streamlining Active Directory setup, RE user setup. I learned from Ashley's presentation or Skills Lab from Power's app, donor service app for Razor's Edge NXT. I can create a Power app then that kicks off a Power Automate flow to create a Raises Edge user or a education management user. By the same token, if you look at my last point, syncing profile updates from education management to RE and vice versa, I can build a flow that do that. And it saves a lot of, hey, cutting and pasting and emailing, having the prompt that, hey, yesterday so-and-so updated the email address. I can then, with that, a click of a button from Power App, we can then push that update from, education management to RE or RE to education management. I'm very looking forward to building that type of integration, because the bulk of our time, a lot of our time for my data coordinator is updating individual email address or addresses from one system to another. Yeah, Ashley? Ashley, are you on mute? Oh, are you having issues with your
So I think what Ashley was putting here was, these are some discussions around these various templates that she's put out into the community, that you can use these links to go directly there and see what we've been talking about, as well as at the bottom a link to the Sky API itself, so you can dig in yourselves and see what endpoints are out there that might be the right data for the report or the insight that you're trying to build.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm looking at questions. Oh, yeah, and Ashley, you want to go to the next slides? Oh, and here's our information. If you'd like to contact us, is BB Sky Connector. So I'm just reading questions. Is BB Sky Connector in Power Apps free? It's called Premium, and I presume it means that it has to be connected from BB. We have to pay a premium. It's called Premium Connector, so we do have to pay a premium for it. It's a paid version. Yes, Chris answered. Someone mentioned in another session that it would be interesting to use Sky API to port data from education management. I just said that we can't. Yes, I just said that if you look at the skills lab for donor service app for Raises Edge NXT, I can build a button, and from that button, I can go in and kick off a Power Automate flow to update education management data. We're looking at Connect Raises Edge and how to improve the flow of the data between, we're still determining the solution to use, so no timetable yet. And it's, oh.
Yeah, that's my answer to Chris's earlier question about Connect RE and flows from education management to RE. Yeah, it is what we're reviewing how we would solve the problem right now. So we are in the midst of that. So rest assured, it's on our radar. And for the connector, the power was the Power
Automate.
Yeah, the Power Automate connectors. I think that Ashley mentioned it, but when she was talking about the tool she used in the Power Automate flow, RE and some of the other solutions have built-in Blackbaud connectors for that specific solution, while the education management does not. So she was using the generic tool, which still gets you straight through to Sky API. You just have to paste in the whole connection yourself. It's not a built-out connector. You just have to use the generic tool. And I believe they are free, the connectors to Power Automate.